views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football.
I can't believe it. Andy Reid got his first Super Bowl ever. Why, Pistol? Because I told you, the magic number was 26 or more. Did you know that Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs ran the ball 29 times? I almost said the Philadelphia Eagles because I still can't get that out of my head. That Andy Reid is the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs and won a Super Bowl. He did it. 29 rushes. That's more than the 49ers. I mean, well, what was San Francisco thinking running the ball 22 times when they averaged, what, it was like 6.6 yards per carry. But Kansas City, here they come, 29 times. That's all they had to do. They haven't lost one game this season when they rushed for 26 or more times.
Man, my head is still pounding, man. That was a great game, but don't talk so loud.
I'm not talking.
It was great. It was great, man. Wow, it was in that halftime show.
The halftime show.
Oh,
the halftime
man.
show was awesome.
Wasn't that great? You feel me, you feel me. I'm with Benny on the block. I'm still running.
My dad keeps texting me how hot Shakira was and stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, they're hot, but she put on a good show. I don't know. I don't know if I can compare it to Prince or to Bruno Mars, but it's top three. It's a great halftime show.
We were great though as the backup dancers.
What are you talking about? Great as the backup dancers.
You don't remember getting up there dancing?
No, no. Yeah, maybe you were, because.
You were great. You were great. We both were.
Why are we dressed like this?
We were dancers.
We were dancers?
We were the
Is that why I'm
backup dancers.
exhausted?
We were the backup dancers.
We were the backup dancers.
We were the
Yeah.
backup dancers.
Okay, that's why. Is that why Kansas City won the time of possession? Won the time of possession over San Francisco, and the 49ers had the lead. That's what's so confusing to me, is that San Francisco had the lead most of the game, Pistol, and somehow the Chiefs won. They outran, not in yards, but just time of possession and attempts. They gave the 49ers a little beatdown. And that's what Andy Reid had to do. He stuck to the ground game. I was confused. I said, could he do it? I wasn't sure that he could actually did it, but he did it. And that's why they won.
Whatever you say,
Yeah,
man. I was just there for the party.
You were just there for the party, huh?
Whatever you say.
I thought you were a big Patrick Mahomes fan.
I was, Mahomie. But, halfway through the show, after the halftime show, I lost it, man.
What, you watched the end of the game. You saw Mahomes. He struggled, a little 3.5 quarters, but the last 8-9 minutes, there's Patrick Mahomes. The big stage, the lights on him. And Patrick Mahomes came through, and that's why he was the most valuable player. I've never seen a kid, what is he, like 24 years old?
Yeah.
To have composure at that age, at 24 years of age, it's just incredible how nothing's too big for him, how he's just able to handle everything, the adversity, to sit in there and to make that big throw. When he made that big throw, I thought that was a turning point in the game, that huge pass over to Hill when Hill was wide open. I was like, all right, I was telling everyone, I said, Kansas City's going to win this game. They needed that big play.
Man. I'm sorry I missed it.
You saw it, man. Come on, you saw the whole game.
I saw it, but I didn't see it.
We all drank. We all partied. You watched it. You knew. Come on, you're a big Patrick Mahomes fan. You loved him. You said he was the MVP, don't you think?
I saw it, but I don't remember it.
Sitting here watching the game with you and all the boys and watching you drunk, which is a pretty funny spectacle over there, especially with those glasses. Do you know you're still wearing that? As you think you were a backup dancer, and that's all great. That's all great. But who would you place the blame on this game? Because everybody, all the big media personalities, they have to throw the blame game around. Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? Is it Kyle Shanahan? Is it the San Francisco 49ers defense? Who gets the blame?
The halftime show. I think that they were distracted by the halftime show.
You think they were distracted?
Yeah.
The 49ers or the Chiefs? Do you even know who won?
The 49ers.
Oh, okay, they were distracted by the halftime show?
I think so.
But they had the lead still in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They didn't seem so distracted. Come on, no, seriously. Seriously, who do you place the blame on? Does this go to Garoppolo because he missed the big throw? Or is this Kyle Shanahan, who everyone wants to just pounce on just because that 28-3 lead that he gave up as the offensive coordinator, not the head coach, but the offensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons? Now I look at this, and I'm not blaming. I'm not one of these media personalities that have to say, oh, it's Kyle Shanahan's fault, because Kyle Shanahan called a solid game. Now, was he great? No, because I criticized, and you said it too before you got so drunk, is why aren't they running the ball more? Why is Jimmy passing? I understand they want to open things up and they don't want to be so predictable, but don't you got to do what got you there? They dominated the Green Bay Packers. And all they did was throw the ball, 8 or 9 times? They dominated them on the run when the Packers knew the run was coming. So why don't you stay consistent? They rushed for 6.6 yards per carry. That was their average.
Blame it on Jimmy G, man. Jimmy G, man. He threw the ball. He was missing those guys, man. I could have hit those guys.
Okay, so it's not Kyle Shanahan. You agree with me. I mean, I place a little blame that he should have ran the ball, but I'm not going to blame because that was a great call at the end of the first half. The pass to Kittle, where Kittle had the PI, that wasn't Shanahan's fault. Shanahan, you're right. He wasn't Jimmy G who missed the wide open Emmanuel Sanders. That wasn't Kyle Shanahan. That was Jimmy G. And the stage maybe was too big for him. Wasn't too big for your Patrick Mahomes, but it was too big for Jimmy G. But I'm not even placing the blame on him. He threw 2 bad interceptions, but he did make that pass to Kittle. He's not the one that got the PI. He was right there. Now, he didn't make the necessary throws, Pistol. That's what it's all about. This is the Super Bowl. But he also has, 30 starts in his NFL career? So I'm not going to blame a game on Shanahan or Garoppolo. I think you place the blame on the whole 49ers team.
Blame it on Jimmy G, man.
What about Richard Sherman? Didn't he miss a huge, he blew a coverage towards the end of the game?
Blame the quarterback.
Yeah, you want to just blame the quarterback. But Shanahan's off the hook, Sherman's off the hook, the whole defense, the offensive line, it's just all Jimmy G.
Why not, man? They always give the quarterback all the credit, so
Okay.
give him all the hate.
If you want to give him more blame,
him.
I'll give him more blame. Yeah. But I'm talking, the guy still, I understand he's 28 years old or something, but he has not even, right around 30 starts. He's going to get better, hopefully, maybe. But this was the whole knock that I had on the 49ers was could Jimmy G make the big play? And it was going to be plays consistently, and he couldn't. He missed a couple throws. He made a couple throws. But that's what you got to expect from a pretty good quarterback, but nowhere near great. And that was the whole beef I had with him.
Are you still talking, man?
I'm still talking.
I got to go back to sleep, man. I'm out.
You're going to go back to sleep. Just don't touch my foot. Come on, Pistol, man. This was a great game. Let's break down the Super Bowl. I'm not blaming it on Jimmy G. I'm not blaming it on Shanahan or Richard Sherman. I'm blaming it on the whole 49ers organization, the whole team. Everybody, you win as a team, you lose as a team. Shanahan should have ran the ball more. Jimmy G could have hit a couple of those big throws. Kittle made a horrible pass interference call. Sherman and a couple other 49ers, I forgot who the other guy was. Who was the other defensive back who blew a coverage? There are plenty. There's blame to go around the whole team. I just hate when the media or people just want to single out one person. Oh, here's Shanahan again. It's Kyle Shanahan. He's the one who messed this up. Are you dancing again? You still think you're the backup dancer? Guy can't hold his liquor. Never seen anything like it. I don't know. San Francisco had the ball. There was 6 minutes left in the game. Do you remember that? Oh, hi, guys. Welcome to Food and Football with Brad. The pizza, the Pistols, looks like he can't handle his liquor. Most of us can. We're just post-Super Bowl party. But the big thing, man, San Francisco had the ball. They were up by a field goal. Mahomes was coming back. 6 minutes left. Here you go. You have the ball in your territory. It's first down. Monster picked up 5 yards. It's 2nd and 5. I thought San Francisco should have kept the ball on the ground to get more carries, to get back to that 30-plus, because when San Francisco runs for 30-plus, they're not going to lose. And what do they do on 2nd down? They throw the ball, incomplete. 3rd down, they throw the ball with Jimmy G, incomplete. Put Jimmy G and your offense in a better position. Run the stinking football. Force Kansas City to call timeouts. Right, Pistol? Call the timeouts. Right? You force them to call the timeouts. You keep Patrick Mahomes, who now is gaining all this confidence, keep him off the field. And then if you get 5 yards in first down, don't you think you have 2 more downs to gain 5 yards when you're averaging 6.6? Don't you think you could do that? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Shake your big head.
Far out, man.
Far out. 6.6 yards, but they don't do it. So that's a big mistake, Shanahan. That's his big mistake. That's the beef I have with him. And, of course, Jimmy Garoppolo missed the plays at the end of the game. And I wasn't really expecting him to make some of that big throw over there, Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, look, it happens. He's young. He's not great. This is a team that's been dependent on their defense and their run game, but for somehow they only rushed the ball 22 times. You figure that out. And I said Kansas City will win this game. If they run the ball 26 times or more, they hit 29. They did take pressure off of Mahomes. And Mahomes struggled. Your boy struggled most of the game. He was getting pounded. He was getting hit left and right. Everybody was hitting him. But you know what he did? He kept his composure because he's a true MVP at 24 years of age. He took all the hits because he knew eventually San Francisco, Richard Sherman, some of those DBs were going to make a mistake. And eventually Schwartz and Fisher and that whole offensive line were going to make the correct blocks and give him some time. And he made a couple big runs. He made a couple big throws. And that's why Mahomes is the MVP. So every time someone argues with me, Mahomes should have been the MVP, first of all, does it really matter? Think about it. Okay, you give the MVP to Damian Williams. He had 100 yards, and I think like 30 or 40 was on the end of the game on that big run. And he had a touchdown running. That was his touchdown. And then he had a touchdown receiving. And I'm not taking away Pistol. He was great.
Hey, can I say something?
Yes, MVP. Who was it?
Patrick Mahomes. And
Okay.
I totally agree
Yeah.
with half of everything you said.
You actually heard it. Okay, that's good. I knew you were listening. You do think Mahomes, because he made the biggest plays when it mattered the most. He was clutch, and he held his composure, and he made those plays. The runs, the throws. Williams was great throughout the game, but when you needed it most, Patrick Mahomes threw 2 TDs in the fourth quarter, and he also ran for 1 in the first half.
I
That's
think
3.
even if they could give the MVP to anybody, they really should have given it to Andy Reid. But I know the coach can't get it because he wasn't playing.
Right. The most valuable person, Andy Reid. I'll give it to him.
Yeah,
I'll
so-
give it to him because why? How many times did he rush? Come on.
He rushed to get the cheeseburgers.
29 times, baby.
You
had to
know
hit
those
that
cheeseburgers.
cheeseburger.
But I was happy for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they worked very well together, and it was just a great game. And you know, I just want to see Mahomes in the future, what more and more, and I think he'll be back. And Jimmy G, the 49ers are going to be back too, you know. And
Yeah.
it was just good to have somebody up beside the Patriots and the same old song. It gave you somebody to cheer for.
Sure.
So I don't think anybody lost.
Let me ask you a question. What are you going to remember most from this NFL season? Are you going to remember, I'll give you some categories. How about Andrew Luck retiring, the emergence of Lamar Jackson, the fight with, who was that defensive lineman?
In Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland. Myles Garrett and the quarterback of Pittsburgh, Mason Rudolph. You're going to remember that. The Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Antonio Brown with the cryotherapy, burnt his leg, then gets cut by the Raiders, then gets picked up by the New England Patriots, and then cut again. And then he's trying to find a team. Now he's in trouble with the law.
This
being
season was
investigated.
like a roller coaster because he had so many different things happen. But I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' run game dominating, having everybody on their heels and surprised, you know, I think majority of the people. I like Gardner Minshew. His mustache was great. So, I mean, you had some good things. And the Daniel Jones, the quarterback from the
Giants, there you go.
Eli Manning said
Retiring.
goodbye.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that.
So there
all
were so
happy
many good
moments here.
things. I mean, and you had Drew Brees missed part of the season, then he came back and was on fire.
Yep, there you go.
So it was just great
Give
all
me
the way
one.
around.
Who you going with?
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson and them dominating on that run game
run game.
throughout the season. I say it was the most surprising. And then Derrick Henry came on at the end. So
All right. I'll go with probably the Antonio Brown situation. Yeah, you know, this is a close one. Either Antonio Brown or Andrew Luck, because I didn't see this coming. I figured Luck was going to miss half the season again, and then he just retires in preseason. He shows up. The fans found out about it because someone in the PR department of Indianapolis leaked it to Adam Schefter. Schefter gets a hold of the story, talks about it. It's all over social media. The Colt fans are booing Andrew Luck. That was just nuts, that whole situation. And then AB burns his foot, doesn't want to report, then gets cut. Then New England and Bill Belichick pick him up. He plays like what, one game? Catches one touchdown, looks great, and now he's in trouble again. Then he's cut. Now he's going to try to come back. Other teams are talking about it, but no one picks him up, and now he's in trouble for domestic abuse type of stuff.
Yeah, those were two off-the-field incidents. I mean, who would think Andrew Luck would retire? But it probably was. If mentally, if you don't want to play the game, you shouldn't be out there. I think Antonio Brown, he should go see a tax advisor because he blew a lot of money. I mean, I couldn't throw away that much money.
Well, he didn't blow any money. You know why? He went to Stanford. He's very intelligent, and he will make it up. He's a bookworm, has a book club. He has so much money.
No, Antonio Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were about Andrew Luck.
No, Antonio Brown.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's...
Oh, Antonio Brown blew a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, that was just money just thrown away. Yeah, so I mean, that's just a wasted effort there.
Wasted talent also.
Yeah, but you can't have stuff like that in the league. So I'm looking forward to next season, actually. I'm glad you'll be back, and I'll be back.
You'll be back.
You know, you got Cam Newton will be back.
Somewhere. He might not be on the Panthers. They're talking about maybe he will be somewhere else. We don't know. The Chargers are looking for the quarterback. The Dolphins might be looking for a quarterback. Who knows what Washington
Brady may be on a new team.
Brady, I don't think so, but that's very possible. Do you want to tell the fans what's coming up on this beautiful show we call Food and Football with Brad, or am I going to do it?
Well,
who do we have? We have a couple special guests.
I need another drink, so maybe you better tell them.
Okay, why don't you drink up special guest Kenny Bell, the pride of Hofstra University and also called the Madden Man. Madden Man for a reason. He was a tackling dummy, but a little bit more than a tackling dummy for the great EAS sports game Madden Football. He's going to join us, help break down the Super Bowl. That is all coming up on Food and Football with Brad and the drunk pistol over here. Welcome back to F&F with Brad. My special guest interview is the pride of Hofstra University, also called the Madman, way more than just a tackling dummy, but all those fun games you've had on EAS Sports, Madden Football. You can thank my guest right now. His name is Kenny Bell. Kenny, welcome to the show. Thank you for your time. Who was the MVP of the Super Bowl?
Man, it was my boy, Pat Mahomes, number one with a bullet.
Yeah. How do you react when people say that Damien Williams should have been the MVP and not Mahomes?
Man, I just tell him from day one, you know, when I met Pat, that I told him, first off, I didn't know he was going to wear number 15, of course, but I knew he was going to be a 15-year NFL QB, and I'm still saying that to this day. And he has an air presence about himself. He can throw, he can run. He has a baseball background, he has football background, he has the height, the size. He has a lot of quarterbacks that won MVP in his frame and in his intellect. So I thought it was hands down from day one that he would win MVP, especially if he went to the Super Bowl. He would win the Super Bowl MVP, hands down.
You've played against so many NFL players. You've trained with NFL players. You've had tryouts with NFL teams. How do you explain the composure of Pat Mahomes being all of 24 years of age in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter with a 2-score deficit?
Man, I'm going to tell you this, dude. The way Pat is, he's ice cold, man. He doesn't get rattled. You know, the moment, the more exciting the moment is, the better he's going to be, the hotter his flame is going to get. You know, it's not fun unless it's run and gun when it comes to Pat. And that's just from what experience being around him and watching him play. You know, the moment isn't the moment until it's the moment, if you know what I mean, if you can receive what I'm saying.
How do you train?
You know,
how do you train composure? How do you get that?
Well, basically, you reflect on how you got to that point. You know, a lot of times when you start getting all unraveled and stuff like that, you forget how you got there. The only way you got to that point is by staying composed and staying wrapped, and you reflect on certain things people said. You know, it may sound cliche, but you go back into things that people say. You may read a book that somebody gives you, but for the most part, all you're doing is reflecting on how you got to that moment. you know, and what you did to get to that moment. Because day one is just like day now, especially if you're in the Super Bowl. You worked hard to get there from the beginning, and now you're at the payoff. You know, last thing is play one game. It's only one game.
All right,
You know?
KB, who would you rather have, Pat Mahomes or any quarterback in the NFL plus any position non-quarterback? So you can have any two players, one quarterback and one any other position, or Pat Mahomes. Who are you building your team with?
Man, well,
Tough
first
one.
off, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that receiver. You know, and the receiver that I choose to have. You know, and it's nobody really talks about the guy. You know, but he puts up numbers. I would go with T.Y. Hilton right now. You know, he's one of the most electrifying receivers. He's always open. He's almost untouchable when it comes to being guarded. You know, he's loyal. He still plays with the Colts, haven't asked for a trade out or anything like that. You know, and you get a quarterback like, of course, Pat Mahomes. You know, the NFL's been waiting for this kid. Trust and believe me on this. The NFL's been waiting for this kid, so there's no way I wouldn't take Pat over any quarterback right now. You know, this if you really put it on a higher scale, the NFL had a 100-year anniversary. Kansas City Chiefs lost the first one. They come in 100 years with Pat Mahomes, the new improved quarterback. He's like a Russell Wilson with 2 more feet of height. You know, he comes into the game and he has the Chiefs win the inaugural 100 Super Bowl. Man, I mean, this is groundbreaking. So of course I would go with Pat Mahomes, T.Y. Hilton. Yeah, they may say he's undersized, but you know, Joy Edelman was the MVP last year.
Yes,
he was undersized, right?
Yep, absolutely. All right, T.Y. Hilton, that's fair. I guess the injury concern doesn't concern you, does it?
Not at all, because I like I said, I watched Edelman get ACL and turn around and get MVP of the Super Bowl. You know, nothing is you know, undoable in this world, in this game we live in, man. You know, it's crazy because you see guys come back from injury all the time. I mean, look, Reggie Wayne had 2 ACL surgeries, and he's one of our leading receivers in the NFL.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Happens all the time.
All the time.
The Super Bowl loser usually has a drop-off, usually excluding the New England Patriots. This year they were one and done, but a couple years ago they lost the Super Bowl and they came back, and of course they won last season. What do you think is going to happen with the 49ers next year?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Honestly, I think, you know, and I'm no Swami here or nothing, but I think that they can make it back to the playoffs. You know, I'm not sure about a Super Bowl game, just for the simple fact that it's going to be so much shuffling in this off season. You know, with that, and they may lose a couple key points on their defense there. You know, so it's going to be interesting. But I don't know if they'll have the strength to repeat another Super Bowl. I think they'll get enough to go to the playoffs, but I don't think they'll make a Super Bowl appearance. That's just from my opinion.
What do you think? How do you think the coaching staff and the players perceive Jimmy Garoppolo?
Oh man, I think they received him as like the next coming of, you know, and I'm not going to say Joe Montana, but like the next composed quarterback that can be a stable guy in there. That I think Joey Garoppolo can bring a Super Bowl if they allow him enough time and they keep enough weapons around him. You know, they have a strong running game now. You know, they get a couple more some firepower on that receiving core. And I think Garoppolo could at least be there for the next 5 to 6 years and go to the Super Bowl again, you know, within that time frame. You know, I think they should see him as the quarterback. You know, he got the nod from Belichick. You know,
yeah.
He was so much a valuable piece there. You know, another franchise picked him up, a legendary franchise, you know. So I truly think that they have a centerpiece with Joey Garoppolo, without a doubt.
San Francisco went from 4-12 to 15-4, losing in the Super Bowl this year. Who do you think has the best chance to be next year's San Francisco 49ers?
Oh, man, that's a good question. That is a good one because I was going back and forth last night about this. It could either be the Seahawks or Baltimore Ravens. You know, we can't leave Lamar Jackson out of this equation here because Baltimore, I think they're going to have a very good defense, stable defense next year, and I think their offense is just now getting a real surge. You know, and with over there at the Seahawks, I think you know, they always make good moves. You always have a strong, stable guy, Wilson over there. So I think they can very well get right back to the Super Bowl. You know, if you look at the games that lost, it's little wrinkles, you know, little and questionable calls that lost a lot of those games in the last stretch of the season. You know, so I think that it's either going to be the Seahawks or Baltimore. You know, more than likely it will be Baltimore.
What about a team
So
like?
for that.
Well, what about a team from like last to first? Someone who really struggled this year. What team do you think has the best chance to turn it around?
Ooh.
Dolphins, Jets, Washington.
You took it right out of my mouth. I would say the Dolphins. You know, because they always have a lot of young, really good talent. I think the defense started really showing their head with their DBs stepped up at the end of the season. You know, they started coming on. You know, but I can't see so much Miami. I could see them having, you know, 7 games, winning 7 or 8 games, but I could see more like, you know, the Bills,
Right.
you know, getting more in that situation. You know, and the Jets could be chasing them. You know, because they still have Le'Veon. You know, well, for some reason the chemistry isn't at the Jets yet. I think the Bills have a better chance than the Jets do.
All right, fair enough. KB, Kenny Bell, the Pride of Hofstra. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh man, I appreciate you. Thank you for everything.
Oh, real quick, what did you eat, by the way? Super Bowl party. What was your food of choice? Just curious.
You don't even want to know. My food of choice was literally jackfruit and oyster mushroom barbecue sandwich. That was my food of choice. You know, I'm a vegan, so.
Yeah, so am I.
So,
you want to know what I ate?
Oh, yeah.
What'd
you have?
I had hummus and a salad.
My man.
That's right. All right. Everyone's eating chicken wings. The Pistols eating burgers, wings, pizza, beer, and that's what and a glass of Merlot. That's what I had.
I heard that. You know, I wasn't too
two.
far behind you, man. I had a beer myself and my pulled jackfruit and oyster mushroom sandwich and enjoyed a great game.
Wow. From one weird vegan to the next. Thanks again, KB. I'll talk to you soon.
Oh, thanks, Brad. Have a great day, man.
You too. He's Kenny Bell, the Pride of Hofstra, the Madden Man, breaking it down. I just want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for joining the Food and Football group. Keep paying attention because we'll post different polls, different recipes, and, of course, information of football. But we will be back maybe for the NFL draft. So just pay attention to any type of reminders or notes that we put in there. But thank you again, the Pistol, John, all of our guests. I'm Brad, Food and Football. We'll catch you soon.
It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football.